sanctions have had an effect. There have been sanctions continuously for many years now on Iran. These new sanctions will add to the economic pain. They will affect the economy, but I'm not quite sure they will affect the politics, specifically the nuclear issue. I generally believe that there are no such things as smart sanctions, the ones that are closely targeted to hurt the government but not the people. The government is the richest entity in Iran, so it has the greatest degree of freedom. It earns about $70 billion in foreign exchange. That's the oil revenue. And they have all sorts of contacts around the world, and I think they can get around the sanctions. The people who cannot do that are, as I mentioned in that article that you referred to, are the people in the lower economic strata. They're the people who lose their jobs and they don't know what to do. They don't have savings to fall back on, like the middle class or the upper class, who could perhaps survive a couple of years spending their savings. So there's going to be a lot of pressure on the lower classes, and in some sense all sanctions are collective punishment. And that's where the moral force comes in. Because if there's collective punishment that's coming from a weak moral position, then people become angry and turn against those who impose sanctions. If they come with a strong moral authority, then the population can tolerate the difficulties and perhaps turn against their own rulers. The term waithood that you referred to, that's a term that was coined by this research program. And basically it means that young people work very hard through school. When they get their degrees, they have to wait 1 year, 2 years, maybe 3 years before they get their first job. So there's a period in which they wait and they're not really accumulating skills. It's more like depreciating their skills and getting less hopeful as opposed to more positive about their future. This is one of the hallmarks of Middle Eastern labor markets that make young people wait at the door, not for months but for years. If you look at Europe, you look at Latin America, the average waiting time, the transition between work to school, is measured in months. Maybe a few months, 6 months you wait, you find your first job. And in the Middle East, it's measured in years. So that's one of the big waits, if you like, waiting to join the adult society. I believe that in the United States, the private employers are able to send signals to schools and to parents and to students about what they need and how they compensate. So you find young people doing things, a variety of things, besides learning mathematics. They learn and sciences. They learn a variety of skills that employers need. I believe even playing soccer as a kid is a way of learning how to play with teams, how to become a team player, how to compete and at the same time work in teams. I think that's really the essence of modern cooperation, competition along with teamwork. If you look at the Middle East, most Middle Eastern countries have one big test which students take at age 18 at the end of high school. And these tests are invariably multiple choice. And that determines pretty much what kind of a university education, if at all, a young person gets. It's as if universities in the United States, and then by implication employers, were only to look at SAT scores. in the US. Just imagine what life will become for young people if you put away the resume, the school recommendation forms, and all the summer jobs the young people do, volunteer work they do in order to impress future employers about their capacity as a full person to participate in the workplace. If you put all those away and you took one number, which is the score of SAT, I think you pretty much ruin the American economy. And that's where we are in most of these Middle Eastern countries.